Picture this: a Gucci bag, a Louis Vuitton wallet, a Chanel scarf, symbols of wealth and status that defined luxury for decades. But in 2025, something wild is happening. Gen Z, the generation that's supposed to be obsessed with trends, is walking away from luxury brands, and they're not looking back. The No Buy 2025 movement is taking over, and it's shaking the luxury industry to its core. So, why is Gen Z ditching these iconic brands? What's driving this massive shift? And most importantly, what does it mean for you? In this video, we're diving into the rise of luxury's golden era, the rebellion of Gen Z, and how this trend is rewriting the future of fashion. Let's jump in. To understand why Gen Z is rejecting luxury, we need to go back to the 90s and early 2000s, the golden era of luxury brands. This was the time of Y2K fashion, when logos were everything. Think Paris Hilton, strutting with a Louis Vuitton monogram bag, or rappers like Jay-Z name-dropping Versace in their lyrics. Luxury brands weren't just selling products, they were selling a lifestyle. If you had a designer logo, you were part of the elite, even if you saved up for months to afford it. Brands like LVMH and Kering capitalized on this obsession, turning luxury into a global phenomenon. By 2010, the luxury market was worth over $200 billion, and it kept growing. Social media only fueled the fire. Instagram became a showcase for influencers flexing their Prada bags and Rolex watches. Luxury brands mastered the art of aspiration, making even the middle class feel like they could buy into the dream. But here's the thing. This dream was built on excess, on the idea that more is always better. And that's exactly what Gen Z is rebelling against. Fast forward to 2025, and luxury brands are facing a crisis they never saw coming. Let's break down the challenges driving Gen Z away. First, there's the No Buy 2025 movement. Gen Z is leading a global push against overconsumption, with hashtags like #NoBuy 2025 trending on TikTok. A 2025 study by McKinsey found that 60% of Gen Z prefers secondhand or sustainable brands over traditional luxury. They're not impressed by a $5,000 bag. They see it as wasteful. Instead, they're thrifting vintage Y2K pieces or supporting small, ethical designers. This shift is hitting luxury brands hard. Gucci's sales in China, a key market, dropped 20% in 2024, largely because Gen Z stopped buying. Second, Gen Z values authenticity over status. They've grown up with social media, where they can see through the curated perfection of luxury marketing. They don't want to be sold a dream. They want brands that align with their values, like sustainability and transparency. But luxury brands have been slow to adapt. Take fast fashion's pivot. Zara and H&M have rolled out eco-friendly lines, while Gucci and Louis Vuitton are still playing catch-up. Gen Z isn't waiting around. Finally, there's the economic factor. With a global slowdown in 2025, Gen Z is feeling the pinch. Many are just entering the workforce, facing inflation and student debt. A Deloitte report shows that 70% of Gen Z prioritizes financial security over luxury spending. Why drop thousands on a bag when you can get a vintage piece for a fraction of the price? Luxury brands, built on high prices, are struggling to justify their value to this generation. So, what does this rebellion look like in 2025? Luxury brands are losing their grip on Gen Z, and the numbers don't lie. The secondhand luxury market is booming, growing 12% in 2024, while new luxury sales stagnated, according to Bain & Company. Platforms like The RealReal and Depop are Gen Z's go-to spots. where they can score a vintage Chanel bag for $500 instead of $5,000. Influencers are leading the charge. Stars like Emma Chamberlain are ditching designer hauls for thrifted fits, racking up millions of views in the process. Luxury brands are scrambling to respond, but it might be too late. Burberry, for example, tried to appeal to Gen Z with a streetwear-inspired line in 2024, but sales still dropped 22% in Q1 2025. Louis Vuitton partnered with TikTok creators, but Gen Z called it inauthentic. The magic of luxury, the idea that a logo makes you special, is fading for this generation. They'd rather invest in experiences like travel or concerts than a status symbol that doesn't align with their values. And as Gen Z's influence grows, they'll make up 40% of luxury consumers by 2030, per Bain. These brands are facing an identity crisis. What can we learn from Gen Z's rejection of luxury brands? First, values matter more than ever. Gen Z isn't just buying products, they're buying into a brand story. If you're not sustainable, transparent, or authentic, they'll walk away. Luxury brands need to rethink their approach, focusing on eco-friendly practices and genuine storytelling to win this generation back. Second, nostalgia isn't enough. Luxury brands are leaning into Y2K trends to appeal to Gen Z, but it's not working if the core values don't align. Gen Z loves 2000s fashion, but they'd rather thrift a vintage Juicy Couture tracksuit than buy a new one from a luxury brand. Brands need to balance nostalgia with purpose. Finally, luxury doesn't have to mean expensive. Gen Z is redefining what luxury means. It's about quality, uniqueness, and experiences, not just a high price tag. Brands that can offer value without sacrificing their prestige, like smaller ethical designers, are the ones winning Gen Z's hearts. Gen Z is ditching luxury brands in 2025, and it's a wake-up call for the entire industry. The No Buy 2025 movement is just the beginning. Luxury brands need to adapt to this new generation, or risk becoming irrelevant. What do you think? Can luxury brands reclaim their magic? Or is this the end of the fantasy? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to dive deeper into the emotional game behind luxury, check out this video on screen.